This region around the Great Lakes has been called a heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
Hello, everybody. It's 11:15, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating this session. If you got any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area. We'll be sure to get to it during the show. Just a real quick market update here. December corn down a penny and a quarter at 418.5. November soybeans are up 3 at 1036.25. And December Chicago wheat is down 5 1/4 at 515 3/4. Now is the last. We just got the USDA report. Pretty interesting to say the least. On the yield side, 186.7. That's lower than the August numbers. 188.8 was August. Trade was looking for a number close to 186.2. On the soybean side, 53.5. That's also just slightly lower than August. August was 53.6. The trade was looking for 53.3. I think on the surprising side is they increased acres again, up 1.3 million for corn. 98.7 million acres now for corn is what we're up to, and they increased soybeans up a couple 100,000 there. On the carryout side for 25, 2.110 for corn. That was against 2.117 in August. 300 on the bean side, 290 in August, so slightly higher there. And then on the wheat side, there was a miss, 844. August numbers were 869. Trade estimates were looking for a number closer to 865. So why don't we jump in real quick, Justin? I guess, on the surface, it's interesting. I mean, we continue to see these acreage numbers go up. And by all accounts, corn being down a penny and a half seems to be sort of a miracle here with what we know. So take it away.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I guess the good news is maybe we'll stop raising acres by the October report. So, I'm pretty surprised we're hanging in as good as we have. We made new highs for the move ahead of the report, up to just about 426 on D's corn. And we have some huge demand numbers written down. So I think we're projecting over 16 billion bushels of demand. And, not that that's not possible, but certainly a huge buffer in there. To get bullish here, I think is tough. If we just raise another 1.4 million on acres. So going to have a massive supply. I mean, what we've talked about, I think there's been optimism and buying because yields are coming down. But at the end of the day, I just think it's just too much to have a runaway bull market with these kind of numbers, personally. And I think still got to contend with a huge South American safrinha crop, which I do think will, be hitting our markets, sooner than later on the export front. Like we talked about, this week's exports were pretty weak in corn. Just I think with the flat price coming up, we're getting a little bit less competitive. So I'm encouraged that we're only down a penny. 2 cents right now, so definitely encouraging. I guess we'll see what actual yield data comes in. That's just kind of surprising. Not used to getting 3.5 million more corn acres this late in the year.
Yeah, thoughts on the bean side? I mean, we're up 3 right now, and again, didn't see anything real special there.
No, really. I mean, they added a couple 100,000 acres, cut yield 1/10 of a bushel, which is not really surprising for today's date. Again, I think you got to get in there and get more actual yield data. So it's still a tough balance for me mentally on how many acres now are west of the river. So when you have such a dry eastern belt finish, it's hard to mentally think about how many acres are in South Dakota now versus what it was, 10 years ago. And they had good rain, good moisture, good pod counts. So again, I'd like to just kind of see what that actual data is. They cut export demand in beans, so they've got a pretty low number written down. It's going to go lower if we don't figure out some business from China. They raised crush, so I don't have any arguments on the bean demand numbers. They look pretty reasonable for what we know today. Corn's the one that's kind of got a lot of work to do. I mean, you're talking about 1 billion more bushels of use. You know, from what they had, Dustin, in May written down for corn. So
yeah, I think I said that wrong. It's like 500 million more. But it's like, yeah. So we're really at like we're still back to a 2.6, 2.7 carry out at just trendline yield.
Trendline demand.
Trendline demand. Yeah. I mean, they're obviously just like, oh, well, we got more supply. We better write down a bigger demand number. And you said it perfectly. Like, yeah, what price do we need to go to get that type of a demand? And, you know, I'm surprised, like, you know, why are we not, you know, down 15, 20 cents right now on this news?
Yeah, it's actually pretty encouraging.
Reading through the report, 90 million harvested acres, if realized, it'll be the highest since 1933. And the planted area at 98.7 million acres is the highest since 1936. I was kind of surprised. I was surprised those numbers were that high back then. But, so a record, almost 100 years.
Yeah, I you know, yeah, I don't know. I kind of joking, but I think it may be like these huge insurance subsidies incentivize more corn acres than, you know, certainly than I think the price ratio and cost structure would have called for. You know, so we're seeing unintended consequences of these, you know, 65 plus subsidies on 95% insurance policies that drove more acres that way. That's because certainly nothing was fantastic about the price ratio of corn versus beans. We had years where, you know, call it the ethanol boom in, you know, 2006 through 8, where the ratio was, you know, 2 to 1 going into planting. We saw massive increases in corn yields, and we're planted more this year than those years, and with a ratio that was, you know, just kind of average, and a high cost structure. So I got to think, you know, big insurance subsidies, you know, you can lean on more revenue per acre on corn. So that's the only thing I can think of why we would have such a dramatic increase in corn acres versus previous years. But here we are, we're down half cent. So not too bad considering we're on a nice rally already. It's gonna be interesting to see crop insurance prices start getting set in October. So interesting what the market does between now and then.
Ben, some thoughts? You're muted. Yes, I got him back.
Got me back. I'm kind of with Dustin. You know, those kind of numbers, surprised we're not 10, 12 lower, go back below the 50-day, see what's there. We're up a quarter right now. You know, maybe the grower gets a final say in this on where the offer is actually at in corn. But pick your yields between 180 and 190. We have a lot of corn coming to the system here in the next, you know, it's kind of starting this weekend for the next 6-7 weeks if everything stays dry. So I don't know. I don't know how corn can hold up here, but if it does, that'll be great. So we'll see. Rallies will be sold for a while. I personally think it's going to be a long fall without any sort of trade deals. And when I say long, it doesn't necessarily mean lower. It means slow, quiet, uninspiring trade.
I did want to make one more point, Dan, too, though. Like the real is on a breakout right now. Like this is the highest we've been in many months. So the Brazilian currency, like that, you know, if corn is stable and the real is up, their price is down, right? So like it's just making us more competitive. I know we have a record safrinha crop to compete with, but like that could maybe explain some of this too. Is that like we're starting to get some, like we forget, you know, that a lot of last year's weakness, I think, was that they were able to stay ahead of our price the entire time. They had a 20% drop in their currency. And now you're on a 15, 16% rise for the year on the real versus the dollar. So like their prices are significantly down because of that.
Yeah, I also say too, like I think, you know, you look at these kind of acreage numbers and you're like, okay, so you have a 2.5 million carry out. Let's say, you know, if you kind of put demand where you think it should be with almost 99 million acres of corn, you know, there's going to be a natural rotation back. So I could see like the support being out forward, you know, D's 26 contract. See spreads get really wide if the flat price doesn't want to break because of currency moves, or, you know, people are getting interested in relatively cheap grains versus what's going on in gold and some of these other things. I could see the support being really out forward, and I think if flat price doesn't go down, I think you see spreads get potentially really wide just because there is such a significant volume of corn either way that's going to move and have to find a home. So I think that spreads will be an interesting one to watch.
Justin, does wheat have a corn problem?
Wheat's got a wheat problem. I don't think, I just think there's zero interest in wheat anymore. It's just it's always had just, a few sickos like Ben that trade it over the years, but I just think wheat's just a tough market in general. I mean, every time you think it's maybe bottomed or turned around, it goes and makes new lows. It's the favorite short of managed money. It has been for a long time. And I just don't know a lot of people that are interested in it, right? You had Russia invade Ukraine, you had all these things, and it doesn't even care anymore. So
yeah, it's certainly just become a leg of a spread, huh?
I won't pretend I have a good vibe on wheat because I don't. We're the residual supplier of the world. We never really do a ton of business. So to me, it's just more of like trying to guess which way managed money moves in and out of positions because their positions are so much bigger than the actual crop size. So I think in my opinion, that's a bigger dictator of price than any fundamentals.
It did get to the D's wheat versus D's corn got to sub $1 again today. So it's a new low for the move. Just to put that in perspective, the 200-day moving average is $1.40. So wheat has been falling to itself. It's not necessarily all the corn weakness.
Yeah, and that's even Kansas City, right? So Kansas City's a higher feed quality. It gets the one that kind of gets fed. It's even 10 cents cheaper than Chicago.
Right.
So it's close to sub 90 cents almost to corn.
Yeah, 88.
You know. So, but you're going to have, you're going to have a lot of bushels west, right? So you got really low basis levels for corn out west. So we've seen wheat get 88% the price of corn to have feedlots switch to a ton of wheat feeding. So it can still get a lot cheaper if its job is to get priced as a feed ingredient. But yeah, on the board, it's in the lower, 20% of price relationships over time.
Very good. Well, with that, we'll wrap for the week. Let's get a quick rundown. We got D's corn higher now, up a quarter. 420 is the last. No beans are up 6.5 at 1040. And December Chicago wheat is down 4.5 at 517. We appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and certainly subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to do so, and it'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with AgYield. So again, thanks to everybody that supports us on a daily basis. We're doing this live every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, 8:15 Central Time. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again on Monday.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.